back together again.
Yeah.
Everyone, this is Les Brown. He's just meant so much to so many people. He's an author. He's had his own talk show host. He's done so much. He's to me, maybe the most powerful public speaker I've ever seen, because you can make grown men cry, Les. I'm gonna tell you, you made me cry.
Oh my goodness.
You definitely have a way of speaking to the heart, from the heart. And I can't even express to you how privileged we feel to be having you here right now, sharing, because I know the value that's going to be had. And to kind of kick it off, Les, the world's crazy right now. It is crazy. And, people are going through some hard times, and I feel like they're probably going to get harder. And you have had some hard times in your life. I know I've heard your story about when you were born all the way through school. So I would love for you to share with this group some of the hard that you had to deal with and how you learned and overcame that hard to maybe encourage those who are kind of in a hard place right now.
Put hard in perspective, Mr. Les Brown.
Well, first of all, we have to be mindful of our public and private conversations to ourselves. The world is not hard, and the times that we're experiencing right now is not hard. It was Shakespeare who said, "Nothing is neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. Things just are." And we determine how we're going to react or to respond to those things. And so let's look at where we are right now, a place where we have never been before. It's never been like this before. And so I want everybody to write this down. It's very important, and it is staying together while we're growing together. This, what we are experiencing right now, has not come to stay. It has come to pass. At this point in my life, February 17th, I turned 75. And I look back on my life, and there are things that happened that I thought happened to me. And then I look back, I now see that those things, they happened for me because they contributed to me becoming the person that I am. So this moment in history where we are, gaps are from God. Lynn, Brandon, you are messengers of hope, the people that are listening right now. And what's very important to know is that in spite of everything that we are growing through, that we are more than able, that we have to remind ourselves, we have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. And let me give you an experience and put this in context. My oncologist, Dr. Alfred Golson, he told me 27 years ago, he said, "Mr. Brown, you have prostate cancer. And it's metastasized to your T1, T2 and 3, and your 5th and 7th vertebrae. It's eaten 40% of your T2 vertebrae." And he said that, and my daughter was with me, and I can see my peripheral vision, her tearing up. And he said, "You know, you have a few months from my perspective." I said, "Can I get a second opinion?" He said, "Yes. And you're ugly too." Come on, man, this is serious stuff, all right? And what he did was he interrupted my thinking so that I did not go to the place of being driven by fear during that visit. How we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. And what you do and what you do all the time, regardless if it's a virus or if it's a recession, recessions restores resourcefulness. Regardless of what's going on, what you do is distract people from their story. You distract, dispute, and inspire when you speak. You distract them from their self-explanatory style. You distract them from allowing themselves to be possessed by fear, and let them know that they control their thoughts, that they're in control here. And so as they listen to you, distract, dispute, and inspire, you distract them from their current story they believe about themselves, they believe about what's going on. And through your presentation, through your experience, through your knowledge, you dismantle their current belief system, and you inspire them, as Mother Teresa would say, to become a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives. Now, this time that we're going through, my daughter said to me, her name is Ona Brown, and she said, Dad, gaps are from God. Let's spend this time working on ourselves. Let's spend this time praying, exercise, eating correctly, working on our dreams, determining what will be different when we come out of this experience on the other side of this, and use this time productively. My son, John Leslie, who's a speaker, he said, maximize your downtime. And we have to maximize our downtime. Now we have to be mindful to wash our hands constantly. We have to be mindful to touch and clean the things around us, and not be in crowds and expose ourselves to people. And we have to be mindful of our thoughts, and particularly what we allow in. There's a saying, and people talk about it in the context of computers, garbage in, garbage out. And they say that about the mind. No, garbage in, garbage stays. You know what I had to do? I had to turn off the television. I found my blood pressure going up. I found myself being fearful. And I said, wait a minute, what's happening here? And so we have to begin to monitor our mental intake. We don't have the mental bandwidth to saturate our minds with negative news every day. We have to, one, have a ritual, have a game plan to fortify our faith. See, right now, a lot of people are being driven by fear. We know what Zig Ziglar said, fear, false evidence appearing real. Well, when you see people dying, you know that's real. Let me tell you something. Up in here, I'm just afraid. I told my kids, I said, looky here. I live on the 3rd floor of my house. I said, y'all just put my food outside my door and let me know when you're downstairs, and I'll crack the door and pull it in. But you can't come up in here because I got some Lysol and I'm going to spray you down. I'm not going out. They're talking about what, the state's 6 feet away? I'm staying upstairs in my room under the bed so Corona can't find me. All right. But the thing is, this is a serious time. We've never been here before. And what we have to operate is from our faith and trust. I remember a reporter asked my mother, as you know, I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother, Wesley, and we were adopted by Mrs. Mamie Brown. I'm here today because of 2 women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And I remember when they were interviewing my adopted mother and said, how did you know that you could raise 7 children by yourself? That had to be very difficult. And she said, I just knew the Lord will make a way somehow. The Lord will make a way somehow. We don't know enough about ourselves to be cynics or to run around being fearful that we can't handle what's going on. If we hear words that say you are more than a conqueror, be ye not just hearers of the word, but be ye also doers of the word. We must live from that place of power and know that we have authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, and that we have to be mindful of how we conduct ourselves and mindful of our inner thoughts. and mindful of the things that we have going on in our space. So when I get up in the morning, first thing I say, all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. Thank you, Lord, for this brand new day of life. I'm a 27-year prostate cancer conqueror because of God's grace and mercy. And to me, a guy called me the other day. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "The best day of my life." He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Every day is the best day of my life. If you don't believe it, try missing one." If you woke up and you got a pulse and you don't have a chalk outline around your body, it's the best day of your life. And so we are here because of God's grace and mercy. And so we have to have a ritual that we engage in. Whatever we listen to the first 20 minutes when we get up affect the spirit of our day. So I encourage people, don't watch the news. I ask questions. I like somebody to give me a Reader's Digest version of what's going on because I don't want my thoughts contaminated. All right, that's number one. And so I listen to things that inspire me, that it motivate me. I heard a song that I love called "Yes, Lord" by a choir called Shekinah Glory. I enjoy that song. Another one called "Lord, Deliver Me from Myself." And I need to be delivered from myself. Okay. And so I listen to things to build my spirit up. And then I review my goals. Last night, I sat down and I asked myself, what's next? And I thought about it. And so I wrote down the things last night, what I want to get out of today. That's why I'm saying coming together while we are apart. Yeah. We have to have a strategy.
Yeah.
Some great things are going to come out of this.
Yeah.
But they can't come out of it if our minds are possessed with fear. Yeah. We've got to be open to the possibilities that something great is going to come out of this. That in the midst of all of this, we've got to know that he'll never leave us nor forsake us. We've got to know that everything is going to turn out all right. We must know that. We have no evidence to prove it. We have nothing to point to, but we are trusting and we're knowing. That goes beyond just believing. We're knowing. The only reason that Jesus can stand outside a man's grave and call his name Lazarus. And I'm sure people look at us and say, is he crazy? Come on, Jerusalem Slim, come on. The man's dead. Lazarus, don't make me come in there, about to make me lose my mind. Up in here, Lazarus. And then things begin to happen. Come on now, help me somebody. Well, so what I'm saying is, I'm a baby Christian, pray for me. So we must know in the midst of this, that things are going to work out for us. That we must know certain things that we must do. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto us. And as we go within and get still and say, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth thee. Order my steps as we journal, as we spend time with family members and friends over the telephone at a comfortable distance. Don't have people coming over to the house. Why? Because it doesn't make any sense to put yourself in harm's way. I don't believe in God working overtime. He said, watch as well as pray. A friend of mine called me and said, I'd like to come over and talk to you. I said, no, we can do it right now.
Yeah. Right now, talk to us right now about, all of our choices matter. All of our choices matter. But sometimes our choices, depending on the stream of time, have a bigger impact. For instance, you could be in the street and if there's no cars, if you don't get out, it's not that big. But if there's cars, there's bigger consequences. Timing matters with our choices. In a time like now, how are all of our choices magnified when it comes to our happiness and what we're trying to achieve?
Yes, our choices do matter. And so what we have to do is make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to step back and observe what's going on. You remember the quote by St. Francis, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't change what's going on with this virus. I do have the wisdom to conduct myself in such a way that I'm not victimized by this virus and put other people in danger. My grandson came over and he knocked on the door and said, Papa, I want to come in. I say, no, for my chinny. He said, why? I said, you can't do it. He said, I'm going to huff and I'm going to blow the door down. I say, you can blow all you want, but I got a lock on this door, little buddy. And he was out there. And he said, you're not going to let me in. I said, no, I want you. He said, I want to see you. I said, I want to see you too. But I can't see you now. Papa will see you at some point in time. And so his father, my son, said, we're going, Papa, I just wanted to hear your voice. He could be a carrier.
Yeah.
Showing no symptoms. I'm not going to put my life on the line for that. I've got to be responsible. And so I had a choice, though. I had a choice to open that door and risk that. I am a 27-year prostate cancer conqueror. I'm dealing with type 2 diabetes. I got underlying issues. I'm 75, so I've got to be responsible, watch as well as pray. I've got to be responsible, and I've got goals to reach. So here's what's very important for people right now. Number one, developing mental resolve. Because when you have people, thousands of people who are being laid off, and then at the same time saying you can't leave the house in many places. And it's so they can't go out and look for a job. And at the same time, bills are accumulating. Now, mind you, when the unemployment goes up 1%, and this is before the virus, 10,000 women are battered. There's a spike right now between domestic violence and suicide. Suicide prior to this has increased over 32% since 1999. So mental resolve, listening to things that can empower us, listening to things that can help us keep our minds clear, watching our conversation. You say things are bad now. We must not say that. Why? Thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you. We're overcoming some challenging times right now, and we're going to get through this. We got to be eternal optimists. Why? Because we are messengers of hope. And our children hear our conversations. And the people that we lead, they hear us. And so it's easy to have faith and be confident if you have your health, if your marriage is strong, if your children are acting like they have good sense, all right? Your bills are paid. It's easy to have faith then, but when you're on lockdown and you have bills and creditors to pay, and they're saying that, excuse me, but as a friend of mine I talked to, and she said, they laid me off today. And I had to talk to her for a minute. I said, baby, this is not the end of the world. I said, they have released you to pursue something else. That's you. This is not it. This is not it. She was going into a nosedive. And so Elsie Robinson said, things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. And Dr. Taha from Cancer Centers of America, when I was there 3 weeks ago, and he said, Mr. Brown, are you aware of the fact that your PSA reading was 2,400 at one time? I said, yes, sir. And 1 to 4 is normal. I said, yes. And that cancer metastasized to 7 areas of your body. I said, yes. He said, why are you smiling? I said, 7 is my lucky number. He looked at his assistant, said, this is a strange one we got here. And he said, well, listen, he said, I want you to talk to my father. And I said, why? He said, because my father's PSA is 36 and he's already given up. Yours is 2,400. I say PSA stands for you, prostate specific antigen. For me, it stands for positively staying alive. So, it's according to how you look at it, you know? And trust me, it's better to be seen than to be viewed. So 27 years later, I'm still here. And all of us have had experiences where we've said, I don't think I can handle this. And we did. We got through it. And so this is one of those times. Yeah. I remember Dex.
The ones that get through it right now, Les, the ones that get through it right now, I think the reward's going to be even greater for those folks. The ones that.
Oh, without any question. If they use the downtime wisely to fortify themselves, to booster their faith, to listen to motivational messages over and over and over again. If they spend this time reading 30 to 40 pages of something positive, if they turn off the television, there's commercial value. There are more commercials that are being sold now than ever before. Let me share something with you I've never talked about publicly. In my book, it's in there, You've Got to Be Hungry, that we're launching this week. My kids, my second oldest son, was driving me from University Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. Brandon, I don't even know how I got in the car. And I said, why am I in this wheelchair? He says, Daddy, you've been here for 9 days. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He said, I thought you would say that. And he showed me on his phone where my other kids and my grandchildren had come, and they were all standing around the bed because the doctor said that I would not make it. And as he was driving me, I said, where are we going? He said, we're going to Serena's house. That's my youngest daughter. I said, why? And I saw all these cars parked out front. And he said, you'll see when you get inside. So I get out of the car. He comes and he holds me by the arm. He takes me in, and my other children are there, including my mentor of 51 years, Mike Williams, who wrote the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. And I saw two people that I didn't recognize. And I said, hey, this looks like an intervention. And they said, it is. I said, I'm the intervention king. I said, who's this for? He says, for you. I said, for me? I said, yes. What do you mean? Daddy, who gives someone 200 oxycodone and oxycodone and Benadryl and methadone? Who does that? You've been taking 25 pills 3 times a day. Daddy, you're hooked on these opiates. I said, are y'all crazy? I taught all of you never to drink or smoke or do drugs. And I went to my oldest daughter and said, do you think that I'm addicted to some drug? She said, yes, Daddy. Yes. And then I went to the other one. I went to my strategist. I said, Mike, I said, what do you think, man? You know me. He said, Brownie, I'm with the family. I went to my youngest daughter, who has the greatest influence on me. I said, look at me, Sarita, in my eyes. Tell me that I'm addicted to opiates. And she said, Daddy, you taught us you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. These people are here. We've paid for you to go to a 3-month program to detox. I said, you're kidding. No, you need help. She said, there are 2 types of drug addicts. Those who seek drugs and those who are prescribed drugs. You were prescribed these drugs from the cancer pain and sciatic pain. Please go for me. I want you to live. Go for me. I don't want you to end up like Prince or Michael Jackson. Go for us, your grandchildren. And so this guy said, we'll come get you in the morning. I said, listen to me. I've never been in any place like that before. I said, if I'm going to go, you got to take me tonight. I will not be here tomorrow morning. And so to make a long story short, I went there. Most humiliating time in my life. People doing double takes saying, oh my God, that can't be Les Brown. Oh, he looks a little bit like Barry White. Finally, I went into the director's office. I said, listen to me. I said, there are people that are prescribed drugs and there are people who seek drugs. I was prescribed drugs. I'm not a drug addict. And he said, every junkie has his story. And I picked up the telephone, I'm embarrassed to say, to hit him with it. And a lady was there, thank God. And she said, Mr. Brown, trouble is easy to get in and hard to get out. You changed my life. Please put the phone down. And I called my son. I said, you come get me. I've got to leave here. He said, Daddy, you need help. I said, listen to me. I have to leave here. And they came and got me. And he said, as I was leaving, it's too hard for him to do it by himself. He can't go cold turkey. If he was in his 20s, he can perhaps do it. He's 71. There's no way he can do it. And Brandon, they took me home and they had to rush me to the emergency room 6 different times. Now, I remember one night praying to my birth mother and my adopted mother. I said, I've never asked you, my birth mother, for anything. I don't even know your name, but I need your help. And Mama, I need your help to help me get through this, because I was regurgitating 20 to 30 times a day and passing out. And what put me in this position, I had a choice. They said, here's something called Suboxone. And I said, is it addictive? They said, yes. I said, why are you giving it to me? Because it will help you get off the other addictive drugs. I said, are there non-addictive drugs that will help to reduce pain? And I touched his arm and he said, yes. I said, then why didn't you give that to me? He said, because the addictive drugs, to be honest, cost more. I said, oh my God. I said, sir, I can't take this. I'm not going to do it. You need to do this, Mr. Brown. Listen to me. I'm not going to do it. And I walked out. And Brandon, I remember just waking up with cold sweat, gagging, dry heaves. And I remember praying to my mothers and saying, please help me get through this. And that night, I prayed that night for them to help me, to give me peace, to help me not continue to regurgitate. I couldn't hold food down, water down. Stayed up all night. I said, Lord, I need you now more than ever. And the next morning, I woke up, I passed out sometime and don't know when. And I didn't have the dry heaves anymore. Was it hard? Yes. Yes. It was hard. But here's what I know. We can do hard. Here's what I know. He said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Here's what I know. Somebody said, I'm losing everything. I said, no, not everything. You're still here. You got your life. And I believe that we're here for a purpose. We were created on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. And to live a life that will outlive us. And we were told, think it not strange that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. We're going to go through some stuff. It's called life. And don't complain about it. Don't tell everybody. Don't ask why did this have to happen to me? Why not you? Who would you suggest? You want to give me some addresses, some emails? It's called life. Handle it. And we can. We're stronger than we give ourselves credit for being. And I've discovered that life is a humbling experience. I remember saying, Lord, if you help me get through this, I'll increase my tithes by 35%. I know I lied in the past, but this time I mean it. Oh, man. And so.
That's a wild story, Les. That's incredible that you shared that story. I can't wait to read the book now that I've heard the story, but it's
gut-wrenching.
Unbelievable.
It's gut-wrenching. And what you will find is that if we do what is easy, allow ourselves to be intimidated, allow ourselves to shut down, allow ourselves to be distracted, allow ourselves to forget our purpose, allow ourselves not to engage in action despite the distraction, as Stacey N.C. Grant would say. It's easy to be distracted, but it takes a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to stay focused, to execute, to look for ways to improve yourself, to raise the bar on yourself, to talk to your people and say, we're going to get through this. We're greater than this. That we have the courage, we have the trust in God, we have the faith, therefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that having done all to stand. And that we will be stronger because of this. This will not take us out.
Les, you talked about purpose just now. And yesterday, Lynette and I were, when we were talking to you, unfortunately, there's this thing called money that we have to have in life. We have to have it, unfortunately. And most people spend most of their life pursuing it when they should be pursuing their purpose. And we know there's a business model that kind of helped you cut your teeth, that gave you the ability to seek purpose a little bit. We have it in common. It's a little company known as Best Line Products, not many people know about. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you got introduced to the amazing home-based business through Best Line Products.
Multi-level, let me get this over here to you, please, and get this tissue. Just a minute. There's absolutely no question. Were it not for this home-based business, I would not be the person that I am now. One, it taught me the value of self-development. Earl Nightingale had a point when he said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Developing mental resolve, developing your leadership skills, managing yourself, managing your time, bringing out the best in yourself and bringing out the best in people, having goals that you have written down, and being, and most importantly, in a community of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. Jobs don't give you that. Between now and the next decade, over 47 million jobs will be replaced by robots and artificial intelligence and cheap labor abroad. Multi-level marketing insulates you. Multi-level marketing allows you to create your own economy with commitment, with systems, and with integrity leadership like you and Lynette provide. And so when you have leaders like yourselves that's teaching people, there's no secret to success, there's a system to success. Bill Bailey was a great leader, just like yourself. You remind me so much of him, and you too, Lynette. And Jim Rohn was a part of that organization as well, a guy named Chuck Simmons. And so what I learned from them is the fact that something my mother used to say, every tub must stand on its own bottom. My mother, yeah, she worked on Miami Beach, and she worked for wealthy families. And she cooked for them, and we ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. And my mother could bake too. She could bake a sweet potato pie so good you could eat it with your shoes on. Had to take your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes, you know. And she kept her children, and we wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that she kept. And Mr. Swiderski, I was responsible for cleaning his office and shining his shoes. And he would listen to different motivational messages. Jim Rohn, when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Zig Ziglar, if you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, you have something special. Don't allow your negative thoughts to hold you down. You have greatness in you. I remember I opened for him. That was one of my childhood dreams. And we were in Kankakee, Illinois. And we were backstage, and he was up in age, and a young guy asked, Dr. Peale, how old are you? He said, Sonny, I'm 92. He said, man, I don't know if I want to live to get 92. He said, that's because you've never been 91. And he was a sharp dude, all right? And so shining his shoes, listening to these recordings, it impacted my life. Earl Nightingale, all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. As I listened to these guys, Glenn Turner, it began to expand my vision of myself. And so we want to use this time to position ourselves to win, to work on our minds, to build a network of new relationships, coming together again, yet still being apart. Because people are still connecting. John Legend, a very popular singing artist, he had a concert online. You gotta think. You know, Robert Schuller said there's never a shortage of money, there's only a shortage of ideas. So this is a time that we have to think and be creative and innovative how we handle this. We don't want to be spectators and sit around and waste our time watching television and taking in all these commercials and all of the bad news that will scare you half to death. And I think that what's most important is spend this time being still and working on yourself and journaling and talking to relationships, people that you haven't spent time with, and deepening those relationships.
Well, and like you said, you got to think outside of the box too. John Legend didn't intend on doing an online concert, but that's where we're at right now. So he's thinking outside of the box. And I know you've talked in the past about a 40-40 rule. So
Yeah.
will you tell us about your 40-40 rule that you referenced?
Yeah, the 40-40 rule is gone, where you can go to college, graduate, and expect to get a job, work for 40 years, and retire on 40%, which wasn't enough in the first place. There's no such thing as job security. And if a person, example, my sister Sharon, she worked for a bank for 22 years. And they brought in someone from India and said, Sharon, this person is going to take your place. And we want you to teach her how to do your job. So Sharon said, no. And they said, if you want your severance pay, you will teach her. That's like bringing someone in, say, look, I'm about to divorce you, but I need you to train her.
I need you to teach her how to cook some sweet potato pie.
Yes. Let me tell you something. You'll be saying, you about to make me lose my mind up in here. And so this is where we are. I remember as a kid, I worked in a bowling alley. This is not new. It's called creative destruction. And when they knocked the balls down, I, along with other kids, we would jump down and we would straighten the pins up, okay? Someone created an electronic trade that eliminated us. Yeah. I used to be an elevator boy. People got on the elevator and I would ask, what floor, please? Someone created an elevator that did not have to have someone manually operate it. creative destruction. I remember when we had operators. And so those jobs are gone. We have computers that can answer questions and get information for you. And so creative destruction is just happening at a rapid rate. In the era of what the late Peter Drucker calls the era of the 3 C's, accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. This industry here is the only industry that I call interactive distribution, the only industry that is recession-proof, the only industry that allows you to develop your mind, fortify your faith, increase your skills, and create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, and create wealth.
Yeah.
This is the only industry on the planet that does that. It's not real estate, it's not the stock market. No, this is the one. And I'm telling you, I am so thankful. I have 10 kids. I'm suing the Catholic Church. I have a class action suit because the rhythm method, you know, they talk about the rhythm method. I have rhythm. I'm suing them because of that. I believe them, and I got 5 boys, I got 5 girls, all right? I'll smile at you, and you couldn't pass a rabbit test, but the millennials, they don't know anything about that. And my kids, they all became involved with me. And so now our goal has to be, how do we see ourselves after this? Because this has not come to stay. It has come to pass. What goals are you setting? And what radical change must you make in your behavior and how you manage your time? As you make a list of the people that you communicate with most, look at them and ask the question, who can I count on? And who should I count out? There are people that they're always there when they need you, but when you need them, you can't find them. And so right now, this is a time that we have to reflect on our lives. There's some things that I can't do anymore because of the fact that it does not fit into the vision that I have of myself and the legacy that I want to leave for my children and for my children's children. And so, and their relationships, because you earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest relationships. So when you have a system and you have leadership and you have mentoring, and why is that important? Because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. As my daughter taught me, that Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest, but he never won a championship without Angelo Dundee. Michael Jordan, he never won a championship without Phil Jackson. So you have to have someone in your life that can take you to a place within yourself that you cannot go by yourself. I did not know I can do what I'm doing now. Case in point, when I was selected to speak in the Georgia Dome, because I'd never been there before, I thought I was talking to around 500 people.
Oh, 1996, Les, 1996. I would have passed out if I walked on that stage.
Well, that's what happened. So when they drove me in, and I was in the dressing room, a guy came in there and he said, "You're Les Brown, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, they're getting ready to call you up on stage." He said, "Come follow me." And he said, "What is it like to speak to 80,000 people?" I said, "What do you mean? I've never spoken to 80,000 people before." He said, "You are today." Oh, come on, man, you're joking. No. He said, "Come here." And he took me and he pulled this curtain back and I looked and I said, "Oh my God." And then I turned and I ran down the hall. He said, "Where are you going?" They're getting ready to call you up. I said, "I got to go to the bathroom. I got to do number 1. I got to go to the bathroom." So they knocked on the door. I said, "Come on, man, you got to come out. They're stalling." So they said, "Call Mike Williams, his mentor." So Mike came and he knocked on the door. "Brownie, come out, man." I said, "Mike, I'm scared. I can't hear the voices, Mike. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. There's 80,000 people out there, Mike." He said, "Brownie?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Listen to me. This is the power, distract. My story was, in my head was, I can't do this. I was overwhelmed with fear. He said, Brownie, are you listening to me? I said, yes. He said, they came to see you. You didn't come to see them. I said, oh. And then he went further. He said, Brownie, everything you've done has brought you to this point. He said, make your mother proud. You Mamie Brown's baby boy. Make your mother proud today, man. She's gonna be so proud of you when she see what you have done. I said, Mike, don't use my mama on me. Oh my God. I said, okay, I'm coming out. So I came out and they started walking me toward the stage. It's 5 of them. So I stopped. I said, well, would y'all pray for me? So they prayed for me. I kneeled down and I grabbed their hands and put them on my head. I don't know what I was gonna do. Okay. So when I got up, I got to the top of the steps, and this is very important. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. And he said to me, Brownie, you got this. You can do this. And Lynette, I turned, they gave me the microphone. I spoke, and I don't remember looking out on the audience. I don't remember giving the speech. All I remember ringing in my ears, you got this. And as we say to people that are watching today, you got this. This has not come to stay. Be mindful. Let's not be reckless. Let's not be foolish and not wash our hands continuously, not put ourselves in places around a lot of people, exposing ourselves to danger. The Bible says, watch as well as pray. But you got this. Spend this time journaling. Spend this time listening to things that can build you up. Minimize the negative input. Turn off the tell-lie vision and focus your mind. What's next, Lord? Tell me what I need to do next. What changes do I need to make in myself? Paul said, I must die daily. As we look at ourselves and look at our goals, we want to be stronger when we come out of this. And that comes from being still. That comes from listening to motivational messages over and over and over again. I had this vision of buying my mother a home. I used to follow her around on Miami Beach. She worked for these wealthy families. I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? I'm gonna buy you a big, beautiful home just like this one day. Leslie, you don't have to do that. I said, I know, Mama, but you didn't have to adopt us either. And you did. I'm gonna do it, Mama. I'm gonna do it. I promise you, Mama, I will. And I did. And it wasn't easy. It was hard. My brothers and sisters, they didn't believe it. All of them called me a dreamer. Look at him, there he goes again. He said, I said, this year I'm gonna make it. Didn't you say that last year? Yes, but this year is different. You said that too. And nothing was different. And my mother would say, leave him alone. Leave my boy alone. He's gonna be all right. Leave him alone, Wesley. Don't try and take his dream from him. And what I learned from this thing called life is a quote that I love, that in life, you'll be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. And I had to remind myself when I went through a foreclosure, the first home that I bought for my mother. I had to remind myself when Dr. Golson said, you got 7 to 8 months. I had to remind myself when I had a nationally syndicated talk show and it was canceled, the first rating period. I had to remind myself. I remember Mr. Leroy Washington, he said to me when I was in his class and he asked me to do something. I said, I can't do it, sir. And the other kids started laughing. He says, He said, why not? I said, not one of your students. He said, do it anyhow. I said, I can't, sir. And they started laughing, saying, he's DT. He said, what's DT? He has a twin brother, Wesley. He's Leslie. He's the dumb twin. And they laughed. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that jarred my thinking. That interrupted the story I believed about myself. And what we have to do now is to know that we are more than able, to know that there's something in us, there's a presence in us, that we've been given authority and dominion over everything. That if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
we can finish your sentences, Les. We love that.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
One of our team's core values is that we provide all an equal opportunity of impact. But the reality is, in order to make that impact, you have to take action.
Yeah.
And the action that you took in making yourself available for us here today, we're incredibly grateful for. It's one, obviously, you didn't have to make, that you chose to make. And
But I did it for selfish reasons. And this is a point that I want to make for the people. First of all, it's always a treat when great people meet. That's number one. But during this time, I could very easily be sitting in my room worried about the fact that Dr. Taha said, you have 4th-stage cancer. I could very easily sit around fearful of where I am right now because of what they said, the underlying problems that I have, that if I get exposed to this virus, it could kill me. Or I can find a way that I can serve. The greatest among you will be your servant. I'm encouraging everybody. There's someone who needs to hear your voice. Someone that needs to be encouraged. Someone that needs their spirit to be uplifted. Someone who's going through a tough time right now. I remember a long time ago that the best way to get back on your feet is to miss 3 car payments. Look here, but you can't even hide the car now. They can find it. I don't care where you put it, all right? But to give of ourselves, to be a servant, decide, when I get up, I have a goal of serving, saying, use me as an instrument. Allow me to give somebody hope and encouragement. Before I called you, I had a severe pain in my pelvic area, and in this area of my neck. It's swollen, and the scapular area. But since I've been talking to you, I'm not hurting. I don't have to take my cumin or my ginger or the black pepper that I take, because I don't take any type of drugs now. And so because I'm in my purpose, because I'm allowing myself to be used as an instrument, because I'm not focused on the pain. I'm focusing on what good can I do while I'm here. Yeah. I remember when I was married to Gladys Knight, and we were at a table with Frank Sinatra, and he said to a young man who was in a car accident, he said, young man, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. And if this were to be my last day on the planet, I will leave here with a smile on my face. And they said, what do you smile about? Because I talked to Brandon and Lynette. And they make me feel good.
You're making us feel good.
I know, you're lighting up my world right now.
You're making us feel good. I'm going to tell everybody out there, they can do something. I know why you did this, and you just stated why you did this, because you know it's time to make an impact, and every day matters, every second matters. And here's my challenge to everybody watching this. Share this. It is so so incredibly important right now that you share this content. Share it on your social media platforms. Share, we're going to put the recording out. Tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people will see this video today. I know it will. And we're so grateful to have you on here. We're so grateful to Babette Tino for putting the connection together with us. You know, I feel less that networks are so underrated. I met you in passing, but because of a network, because I knew someone that knew you, this happened today, and unbelievably powerful things can happen if people will allow their networks to work. They're so scared. They're so scared of what might happen, but if they will just open up a little bit, amazing things can happen.
Without any question, you cannot do anything without it. If you work on your mindset, because we're going to take some hits, things are going to happen. Over this year, at least 3 tragedies, according to various studies, will happen to us personally or to someone we care about. Okay, my granddaughter, oldest granddaughter, had a full-term miscarriage. That took a hit. You know, and through prayer and counseling, we're still growing through that experience. And this is a time, I think, as the guy said, we've been so unruly, God said, everybody go to your room.
Everybody's funny. Everybody's funny.
Yeah, you are now being punished. But I think that gaps are from God, like my daughter said. I've been rethinking my life. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for things that I took for granted. I'm thankful for friends like you. Thankful that I could still touch people with my voice and my story. I'm thankful that I live in America. I think I was in Manila, and I saw a bumper sticker say, Yankee, go home and take me with you. You know? So I'm thankful every day that God gives me on this earth to be able to serve and to be able to impact lives. And I encourage the people that's listening now, back away from the media and spend time listening to things that's going to benefit you. I don't take a phone call unless it's going to make me happy or make me money. Okay? I screen my phone calls. If it's not going to make me happy or make me some money, I'm not answering it. I don't need that in my ear.
I promise I'll do both.
Okay, very good.
I'll do both. I'll make you happy and money every time.
Right. You know, people say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves.
Exactly.
Yes. And so this system we have, multi-level marketing, what an incredible system. I remember when they used to predict times in the future that we would be in this place, and we are here. And so I encourage everybody to stay the course. Give it everything you have. I always ask audiences when I speak to them, how many of you know that there's something special for you to do? And they will raise their hands. How many of you have big dreams? And they would raise their hands. And I want to ask you this, and I've been reflecting on this myself. How many of you know if you had your life to live over again, you could have done more than what you've done thus far? Be honest. And we all raise our hands. And I said, as you look at yourself and look at your goals and dreams, we have to be all in. A.L. Williams said, all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough. But make sure you do all you can do. There's a lady out of Dallas, Texas. She's a quadriplegic. She can't pick up the telephone. She's blind. She's in bed. She built an organization of over 7,000 people. Someone had to dial the phone for her, to put it to her ear, to recruit people. Someone has to do that. She can't fan a fly out of her face. She can't take herself to the bathroom. But you're talking about a powerful personality. You talking about a person who has said that even though I cannot move my arms, even though I can't take myself to the bathroom, even though I can't walk, I'm going to use my voice to build a business for myself.
Wow.
And I say that we are blessed. We are blessed.
We sure are. We've been blessed to have you on here today, Les. I know you got time. Selfishly, I'd like to keep going, but I know you got other people that you're going to help happy and make money.
Well, I'm having a good time with the two of you, and I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be with you. And I just hope the pain still away when I hang up, when we stop. I know the pain will say, "Oh, Lynette and Brandon gone now." Okay, well, we're about to make you pee right now.
Call us back.
Call us up,
Anytime you're hurting, you call us up.
I call you? Okay.
Call us up. We'll be here.
Okay, my brother. All right, you gonna hear from me? I'm saying they got me, Brandon. They got me. I'm turning red as I talk about it, but you can't see it. Okay, thank you.
Have a good day, Les.
Les, thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
you.
We'll talk to
I
you.
love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Take care, buddy.
All
Bye-bye.
right, take care.
Bye-bye.
I want you to know you married up, Brandon.
Oh, she can cook sweet potato pies, Les. She can cook it all. She can cook it all.
Okay, buddy. Take care so much. Thank you so much. Love you.
Yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that today. Share it out. What an amazing man. Just unbelievable.
Oh,
Unbelievable. His honesty, his heart, just amazing. Guys, what I said out of sincerity is the thing that I think most people underestimate the most is the power of their network. Their network, your network, and it's golden. It's golden, and you're the only one with the key. You are the only one that can unlock your network. And I know it's scary to do. There's trials and tribulations, but you just heard from Les how amazing it is when you can surround yourself with good people. So do that. Share this out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm glad it went off without a hitch.
yeah.
I'm so excited. And I don't know if we'll ever top this. So I'm just going to call it that it may never get any better than what we just did for the social media networks. We'll try. We'll do the best we can. Have a good afternoon.
Take care, guys.